Coming to you straight from the Rio Grande and beyond. Broadcasting to the four corners of the globe. So grab your seat, your coffee, or your sundowner.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
On point, as always. This is Gloves Off. Gloves Off.
Back at you, Gloves Off. I'm Paul Buitron. I'm here with Rafa Duenas, and he's a candidate for City Council District 6, and his campaign is up in the lead right now, you know, and I would say that because you see a lot of momentum with a bunch of other ones that are out there, but, you know, that what I mean by lead is it's always there in front, you know. The other ones are also there, you know. They're all good, but we have to take it from there. How we doing?
Pretty good, Paul. It's always good being back on your show. Really, just like your show's title, we kind of just got to take our gloves off. And I love doing podcasts and online interviews because it's just not so formal, you know. We get to just have a one-on-one conversation, sure, and people get to listen in and chime in. We've held a real grassroots campaign from the start. Usually there's kind of a dichotomy within a campaign. You'll see someone putting in a lot of money and just kind of putting up signs, TV, etc., mail outs, and then you'll kind of see another one that's just, oh, well, he's only in territory, you know, in the ground, knocking on doors, visiting with people. We've actually been able to do both. I mean, we decided, and when I say we, it's because it's a whole movement, you know. It's a whole movement of people wanting to progress. It's first and foremost my family's support. You know, my sister, my mom, my dad have been out there every single day with us, block walking, and that's been a huge help. But when we came and expressed our frustrations, our disencouragement with the way things have been, we said, you know what? Todas estas quejas, all this complaints, we keep them right here. And we work and we find solutions. So if you visit our webpage, which is www.voteforrafa.com, you'll see a list of proposals, 9 in total. They're not the only 9, nor are they in order. It's just some issues where we see that Laredo the local government can really have an impact. So we came out with a clean campaign of just trying to bring proposals out, no attacks on anybody. That we need to put that stuff behind. There's already enough envy, strife, division, political retaliation as it is. And we've really picked up some momentum, you know. People want something positive for the city. They're tired of the same old habits, the same old ways, the attacks on each other, discrediting each other, and we have seen that. But we're just standing up for what we believe in, which is a better Laredo with the following proposals.
Sure. You know, there's a lot of things that I've seen. I'm looking at this from the outside, and I see everybody doing it there, and I see certain people in campaigns. We've been involved in the last 20 years, more since 2000 this way. Been involved with campaigns and some serious ones where you used to see a lot of strife, a lot of animosity between candidates and the camps and stuff.
And at the end of the day, you're going to represent those other candidates.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully elected.
Absolutely.
And it's not fair that because they decided to take a stand and share their own vision, you know, is that you're going to just hammer them down for the rest of their life. It's like, no, you know what? Okay, you know, we had this little animosity. There was this little strife or division because obviously, well, you're in a match for...
You're competing for something. But
at the end of the day, we're all Laredoites, you know?
Yeah, but no, and some of them are pretty tough. But anyway,
some of them still hate each other up until this day. It's like 25 years.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is that you see a difference here. You see people... There's nothing. Everybody's doing their own campaigns left and right. Each one's kind of minding their own business, and which is good to see. Mm-hmm. And also is what is it that Laredo needs, especially not Laredo. Let's divide Laredo into two things, and we'll answer the same question. One, the District 6,
yeah,
and the other one, Laredo. And right now, Laredo is lacking in water. I mean, we know that's an issue. Mm-hmm. So what would you do when that comes in? Because everybody's always asking that. That's a number one question when you ask somebody, what are they going to do about the water?
Yeah. So a lot of it is just giving continuity to the projects that have already been set in place and set into motion, which is why it's important to not fight with the previous council member or etc. because we all need each other, and there have been good projects that have been designated. Now in the water, there's been money and funds designated to fix the pipelines, to remodel the pipelines, and to make sure that all our infrastructure is up to par. Personally, I would like to see better pay for the utilities department, especially on lower levels of management. We're losing talent, and the talent that we have there, with all honesty, sometimes stuff is beyond their paycheck, I mean, we go and we contract services for overnight because we don't want to pay our own staff time and a half or double, and we end up paying the same for a contract, So let's just make sure that we're taking care of our people so our people can take care of us, Let's have that ese orgullo, that sense of proudness to work for the city, And there's benefits for working for the city, but in regards to medical insurance, health insurance, recently there was a COLA, a cost of living adjustment for all employees, which was a 3%. I was hoping that it would have been a 5% due to the whole inflation, but at the same time the insurance went up, so on their paycheck it's not really reflected, So hopefully that we can get a better pay for our utilities department, make sure that the funds that have been designated to pipelines stay there. Sometimes everybody wants to come and pick from the utilities enterprise fund because they want a project here, they want a project there. We've seen murals come out of the enterprise fund, and it's just like, no, I don't think that's a priority. You want to put a mural, you want to put a sculpture, use your discretionary funds. That's what they're for. They're for beautifying your district. They're for making a city that we're proud of. But when it comes to enterprise funds, make sure that they stay there, as well as continuing to fund the secondary water resource. We need to continue to look for a secondary water resource. I've shared it time after time that in our Columbian Bridge we have hazmat materials cross every single day, and if we were to have a spillage, the water is going to go down, and we're not going to have drinking water nor bathing water. So it's imperative that we start to look for a secondary water resource as well.
You mentioned something very, very much that people over here, and I know that your family and everybody, many of the people that are the candidates are involved in international trade. And you brought up a specific point.
Which we've never had someone from the International Trade Council.
Exactly. And what I'm saying is there's dangerous chemicals that cross every day that border.
I was talking to an owner-operator who actually lives in District 6. An owner-operator is someone who drives their own truck, and he manages hazmat, and he says that he's held stuff where people don't even want to come close to it, or people who are loading it are all fully suited. So and he's bringing that across our bridge every other day. So now imagine the hundreds, thousands of trucks that cross.
And that's something that we have to be prepared for that. I don't think we're up to par for that.
We're not.
So security wise for that, security and safety, and not security, and I'll put that in security. And we have to be able to contain that, and we don't have those resources. We think we do, only because you go to an 8-hour course doesn't make you into that. We have to practice that. I mean, because it's going to fall on the firemen.
So here in Laredo, we only have Station 7, which is by Calton, equipped with people trained, with firefighters trained, and the equipment that they need to respond to that. That was placed there strategically because chemicals also come through the railroad bridge.
Sure.
But in 1992, we had Columbia Bridge be built, and we have never brought the safety measures up to par. So we have a firefighter station in Pinto Valle, which is closer to the whole new, I mean, I say new because we're talking about the 80s when Station 7 was built around there.
Absolutely.
New because that's where all the industrial area is. So in Pinto Valle, you can equip firefighters, get them classified, get them the training, and get them the proper equipment, because there's so much traffic that by the time they respond, and they've been doing, response has been through a private contracting company, but we need to make sure that as a city we have our safety measures up to par as well.
And because you don't want to get hit with something, and then all of a sudden they say, well, we froze.
Yeah.
You have to train. It's training. I believe in training. Training is two different things. I had training, 8-hour course,
Yeah.
and never touched it again. Or I'm training once or twice a week. I'm doing this over and over and over.
Yeah,
And
we're gonna
that's
do these
and if we're going to be paying them to be doing that, they better be practicing over and over and over. Just not once every 6 months or once every 2 years or once whenever somebody asks, because that's the complacency that we have. And we'll talk about that. And listen, that training was magnified in that horrific event that happened in Uvalde, because they were all trained by the same people of T-close, that were all trained by the same people that do active shooting training, and the teachers. They don't train any different. That mishap over there can happen here in a hazmat like this, or in a similar situation.
Yeah.
And we better be training, and that's what we need. That's safety, security, and safety. Security of the chemicals that have come in, that you brought an excellent point. Nobody else has ever brought out before. And the second, have the security for our firemen to understand that, and because that's safety for the community.
Yeah.
And firemen, I'm not picking you in any form or fashion. We're just saying that
we need to give them the necessary tools that they need to respond.
Absolutely.
So for those who don't know, and maybe this is the first time you're actually hearing of me on Paul's show. I'm a first-generation American. My family moved here to Laredo because of safety, security, and economic opportunity. They got involved in the trade industry. My dad's a freight forward agent, Mexican freight broker. I am a small business owner in transportation, so that's why we've been acquainted within the whole industry, the whole trade industry.
And what happens with it in different formats. Yeah.
And I've served on the Association of Logistics and Forwarding Agents for about 5 to 6 years now, under 3 different presidents. So yeah, we have a little bit of information. But going back to the original point, make sure that our pipelines with our water are up to par, that funding continues to stay there, that we pay our lower levels of employees in our utilities department better, and continue to look for a secondary water resource.
Yeah, and you're going to see me hound the following thing that I say. I say the ABCs of destruction. Number 1, arrogance. B, bureaucracy. And C, complacency.
Yeah.
And Laredo, and Laredo in general, the municipality in general, has the ABCs abundant. And we need to get back to basics, and we need to step back and say, you know what? I was elected here to represent the people. They are my constituents. They're not my subjects, and we have to get that arrogance out. Second, the bureaucracy that's been limited and that's been given and that has been going on has to stop, because that we have a lot of people all of a sudden, we don't like his political side, and you have a bunch of police and inspectors show up at the business and start harassing. We need to stop with that. Political retaliation has to stop now, please. And people say people say it goes on. It doesn't happen. No, it happens. It's happened to me. It's happened when we first came in. We can go into another different story. We can talk about it later on.
Yeah.
But so we need that bureaucracy, especially when people are going to go out and open up a new business. Because we're talking about small businesses now, in complacency. It's okay. Let's kick the can for the next guy that comes in. No, we have to deal with it now. If it fell on your desk, you deal with it and you make sure that it's out, because that's what you're getting paid for in your job. And that's what you need to do. And there's a lot of wrongs that are going on, and we live in this beautiful city, and people now, and this is what's going on now. People now are crying out. You see them on social media coming out and hounding now, and it's something that never happened before. And now it's out in the open. And social media has brought that up to it, which is actually good in a way, because people are expressing their First Amendment rights, and with all good say. But people should not have a hatred towards a person's family. That's a public official. Deal with a public official. There's problems, pick up a phone and call them. I'm going to tell you something now, and I'm going to ask Rafa right here. A candidate that takes 2, 3, 4, 5 days to answer your call and call you back, guess what's going to happen when he gets in there? He's not going to call you back. If he doesn't answer your phone now, he's not gonna answer your phone when he's in there, or she's in there, okay? So that's one thing to do, and you can call him any day, and he'll pick up the phone and say, okay, yeah, let's deal with it. So,
Not always, but if I don't get to your phone call, I'll make sure to call you back or shoot you a text message.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
And so on the next part, because District 6 has a lot of small businesses in it. It's
Yeah.
an area that has a lot of commercial, and
we need more.
We need more, and we need to change that movement that's going on in there in Laredo. We need to change the movement drastically. The restaurants are closing at 9 o'clock on the weekdays. The kitchen closes at 10. When has that ever been seen anywhere? I mean, the only ones that are open are McDonald's and Burger King and Taco Palenque, but everything else is closed.
Yeah,
The kitchen
COVID
so
really
we,
changed a lot of things.
we have
The
to
way that
start.
we do life.
I mean, if you have a business in that way, you're not helping or they're not helping. I don't know whoever told them to start closing at 10. That was the biggest mistake ever. So start moving it forward. You know,
Mhm.
it's your business.
Yeah. So
Talking about
because
small businesses.
Small businesses are very decentralized. Sometimes the local government, or I mean, there's a book called How the Government Used the Pandemic to shut down small businesses or something like that, and small businesses. And it speaks really that because small businesses are so decentralized, where it's just, pues otro, you know, we take care of the big guys because those are the guys who can really be a threat to your political office, to your political ego. And that's really not it. So when for quite some time now, I've actually been a very big proponent of small businesses really just supporting, and you can ask local small business owners here. I won't mention names because luego se ofenden unos a otros just because you forgot, you know. But you can ask small businesses. I'll be at their establishment every Sunday, every Monday, for some time, and then once they get the promotion that they need, we'll jump on to the next one. And that's kind of what I started doing with my campaign too. I said, you know what? Hey, we have a platform. Why not use it to promote small businesses? So any restaurant that I'll go, I'll take a picture and say, hey, we're eating here today. Food was great. We do need a lot of small advocacy, awareness. There's been restaurants that have been open for 2-3 months, and it's like, what? When did this open? You know, so really support each other. Make sure that we take care of each other. At least go give it a try. You know, but there's a lot more that we can do, and we need to make sure that we're business friendly. I think it starts not when they open, but from the moment that they apply for a permit. We need to have good, efficient customer service within our local departments, within our building, within our planning and zoning. Be efficient.
You're correct.
I know that there's been initiatives to do a one-stop shop for quite some time now. Why that hasn't happened, I'm not entirely sure.
Explain that. What are you trying to?
A one-stop shop that you do the whole permit process just with one person.
With one office.
Yeah. So the occupancy, the inspectors, all that goes through in one office. I guess it's probably very tough to accomplish if a lot of people who have had the initiative haven't been able to.
2020 opened the realm of the internet and meetings and so on and so forth. So you don't actually have to go over there. You can actually have one of the tellers on Zoom, and you just call them in there, and then guess what? You know, this is going on. But here's what I have. And
there's a lot update that we need to do with our software here.
Absolutely. Listen, a lot of small businesses, and I talked to some of them, and we've opened up different association cliques, if you want to say, just to protect each other because of what COVID happened. And we backed up way too many, from the barbers to everybody else. And I tell this to small business owners: if you have a small business, come over here and tell your story. There's a way we're going to get it out, and it's free. We're not charging anything.
And every single business owner has a tremendous
story to come tell what's going on with your business, and we can push people that way. Yeah. Because this is for the community of Laredo. That's why we opened it. We opened up Gloves Off in that format, because if you have a platform, try to help out. You know, this is not a platform to start insulting people. There's a platform to start bringing stuff together. And if there's a mistake, doesn't matter who's in office. If somebody's in office, whether it's your best friend,
that's the
you're going to tell them, hey, you know, you're messing up. Let's get this straight.
Exactly.
But talking with what you're saying is, a lot of complaints are people that are opening up new businesses. It takes between 15 to 20 days, and I keep repeating this, for the inspector to go over there and give them a temporary electric permit. I mean, he's paying rent for that already, and nothing's being done. By the time they finish construction or what have you, it takes them another 20 to 30 days for them to go back to give you an occupancy report. I mean, people, the times are hard. If you open up and you have to put something in there, you're spending about $100,000 just to open up a small business. That's just minimal. If you can even if it's already ready, maybe you can cut the cost to 50. But if you go in there and it's just a shell that you have to put bathrooms and lights and sheetrock and ceiling and everything else, and you need inspectors to come in, and it's taking each inspector 10 to 20 days to come in, forget about it. You're already months behind. That's why small businesses don't make it, because here in Laredo, unless Laredo, here's the question: unless Laredo, the city, the municipality doesn't want small businesses, but keep on doing what you're doing, because you're doing a perfect job. But you have to change it, because that's a backbone.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would say that, honestly, on a local level.
I don't think so either. But
there are, as you said,
but
political retaliations where I've heard some, oh no, we're not going to go eat there because they supported this other candidate. But that's their own beacon. But with the overall, I mean, I think everybody wants to do good for it. We just need to make sure that we dedicate the time, the energy. So during my time in the Economic Development Committee, one of the things that we did was actually hire the Economic Development Director. And we started the department. I was on the Economic Development Committee, which is an advisory committee. And we did the whole interview process and got someone qualified, and he started it. And one of the things that the department did was put all the incentive agreements on their webpage, and any investor can come and easily click on that, and it shows you what requirements, if you qualify, if you don't. Oh, I don't qualify for this one. This policy is for a larger investment. Well, let me see, do I qualify for this one? And really, that's the kind of tools that we can have if we just invest in our software, invest in our webpage, and just, hey, small businesses, we can do this for you, you know? So one of the things that I did during my economic development tenure as the chair, which I was the second ever chair for that committee. The person before me had been there as the chair for 12, 14, or 14 years, I'm not entirely sure. But I actually wanted to do a small business campaign. Real simple, real easy, just, hey, every committee member, nominate your business, preferably in the district that you represent, who followed the rules during COVID, who did good, who followed protocols, because we want to make sure that we honor them, you know. It was a super tough season, so if you made it out, you know, hey, the least we can do is go take a picture, congratulate you, and post you on the city's social media. Fortunately, that didn't go anywhere. Not sure why, but this is just kind of some of the initiatives that I've been promoting for some time. People ask me, when did you start your campaign? And the reality is that the campaign started 4 years ago. You know, we've been doing all of this stuff, promoting all of these initiatives for some time now. Now we're just deciding to do it through the local office of a city council.
Yes. You know, that brought me into something in there, because, you know, sometimes people have good ideas, and you have to bring in, as an entrepreneur, and you have that behind you, and you bring out ideas, and sometimes you need somebody else to bring them out there. You need a good leadership team, people that don't have egos, people that don't have, and people that are not yes men, because you can have a team and everybody, yes sir, yes, that would be great. You don't need yes men. You need somebody that's going to put in there. And you go in there into that tank, and you just put everything in there. It's a little brain tank, and you say, "Oh, this is the idea that I have. Let's see how we're going to promote it." And guess what? You might have a damn good idea, and all of a sudden, people say, "No, this is going to happen over here. This can happen," and also you just crush it and say, "Forget about it. Let's keep on going forward." We don't dwell with it, but a lot of things happen, especially what I've seen there. That ideas are good. People follow through, and then all of a sudden somebody's personal ego will stop that idea. That happens too. That's in business, so you need to understand how to go and deal with it.
Yeah.
On another
We
note,
need to put credits to the side, you know, and just get
absolutely.
stuff done. Just help the people, you know. At the end of the day, yes, being an elected official does have a power, but it's a power lent to you by the representative of the people. And at the end of the day, you know, just you gotta give it right back to them.
Yep, and here's another thing. Another question that we were talking here earlier. People always say, no, you know, we need more people that are older to represent us. Really? What is the average age of a Laredoan? People that live in Laredo. You said 30 earlier. It's actually 28. Listen, at 20 years old, many Laredoans here already have 1, 2, maybe 3 kids. They're already starting their business. They're looking at buying their first house. They're paying off student loans if they have a profession in that sense. But I'm not trying to say, you know, if they went to a college, or if you want to put it that way. So they're looking at things that's going to be betterment for them in the future. So those are the people right now that are out there looking at, is Laredo in five years going to have clean water? Is Laredo going to support my business that, you know what, my wife now is going to have a small bakery? Is she going to be putting them going in there? Are my kids going to be safe in school, walking home from school? They're going to walk 7, 8 blocks. Are they going to be safe when I'm walking in there? Is there going to be any gang violence and stuff like that, violence in here? Because we have a Mary City, but is it going to be something that's going throughout the whole city? Is there going to be a golden sense of, for me to stay here, what's the incentive? So all these 28 years old, 30-year-old, because that's the average age, those are the people that are out there actually looking. We need to put people that can talk to them.
Which is why it's super important that young people go out to vote. We're all tired, we're all frustrated, we're all discouraged with the way things have been, but we're not going out to vote, and we keep getting the same of the same of the same of the same. And then what happens? We end up just leaving the city. You know, oh, there was no economic opportunity, there was no quality of life. Right now we have the opportunity to build that, you know? We have the opportunity to take the right steps in the right direction to promote a diversified economy, to promote better paying wages, to promote a better quality of life. Let's start a mixed use district in District 6, you know? Let's have small businesses with living, with housing and in this one same area, and make something pretty, you know, make a city that we're proud of. And let's stop the brain drain. Let's stop the brain drain. And how do we stop the brain drain? By voting, by electing officials who will represent you, who will work with you in building the city that we're proud of. Throughout history, we've seen revolution to revolution of young people who, accompanied by great character, accomplished great things. And when we don't learn from our history, we forget it. We make the same mistakes.
Absolutely, and we need to have that mentorship. Maybe we can have some of the old politicians come in. Cause listen, the city of Laredo has more committees than I've ever seen. Committee for everything. A committee for bird watching, committee to watching the sun, a committee to watching the stop sign, see if it moved, a committee for this, a committee for that. Nothing gets done. Everything's on committees. If you've been elected, you're the one that we elected. We didn't elect the committee. You go over there and you deal with the problem. You understand?
Yeah.
And that's what people
need. Someone full-time committed.
If you're going to be in there and you're going to be getting paid now, because people are paying, you have to be in there and do this. You don't need 15, 24 different committees and give favors to these other person and get a bunch of yes ma'ams, yes sirs, and something happens. Somebody has to put you in check and say, you know what, this is wrong. Oh, you told them it was wrong, but I'm backing up the idea. You know what, you're out. I'm going to switch you and I'm going to put somebody else in. No, we don't need that. You see, so kill the committees. Number one, we kill the whole committee. Boom. Start with a revamp. And that has to happen. I mean, people are afraid to take those steps, those drastic steps, and we have to take drastic steps now.
We need to be bold.
And folks, and I'm talking to everybody here, I think there's 160 something thousand registered voters. Okay, some people say it's 130. I think it's more about 160. I might be wrong in the numbers. If I am, you guys can correct me, because. But what I'm saying is, we can always come up with 30,000 people voting. It's always the same ones. It's always people that are in old folks' homes. It's always people that were absentee ballots, and those are the ones that win elections. And no, we need all those young folks that are out there. You guys better stand up, because this is your all's future, and you guys better understand how it's gonna go.
The last thing I heard, people start bickering here and there, was that one of the other candidates said that because I'm not a property owner and I don't have paid property taxes, then I shouldn't be eligible to run, or that we shouldn't vote for me. And that's the whole thing of history repeating itself. You just take a look back. You don't even need to be so affluent in history, and it's just, hey, well, when this nation was founded, only white male property owners over the age of 21 could either vote or be elected into office. So we've come such a long way. Now women can vote. Everyone, whatever your race is, over the age of 18 can vote. We've come such a long way for someone to want to take us back into such a long time ago,
And it happens. And then you have people, their opinions, cada cabeza es un mundo, pero, so we really can't. We just have to understand what is needed, fix what is needed.
Exactly.
And those people that are up there and say, you know what, I'm agreeing with you, let's go ahead and do that. Because I've heard everybody talk. I know everybody personally, and when you talk to everybody, at the end of the day, this race is a very contested race.
Yeah, it sure is.
And it's probably, people say, who do you see in the four? I see 4 people that are leading there that can easily jump in, and go into the runoff. And once you're in the runoff, it becomes a total different other race. Yeah. It's not, I'm continuing that. No, you have to start from 0 forward, and people do not understand that. The person that's going to win this election is a person that can convince the voter that I'm going to try to help you in the future. And if you cannot get that across to anybody,
that's what we need. And as voters, we need to respond to that too, because there's so many political interests that they have their own cliques and their own group and their own solid people of voters, and we can't let that continue to go on. We need to put a break to that, and the way that happens is just as you mentioned, going out, voting. Early voting is October 24th through November 4th. Election day will be November 8th. Make sure that we elect something new, something fresh, someone who's going to represent you adequately.
Absolutely. And folks, pay attention. Call out the candidates. You have a problem and you live in the district and you say, you know what, so this has been here for the last 10 years. Are we gonna ever get this fixed? Because in all reality, you have 4 years. You should get 4 years, and each candidate should be able to get 4 years, and that's only 4 years you're gonna get. You shouldn't get another recall. I'm against 2 terms. You're in there for 4 years. If you can't fix fire hydrants, speed bumps, potholes in your district, this house over here is a drug house, let's get rid of it. Let's put more safety lights over here, let's put this over here. If you can't do that in 4 years, you don't need another 4 years. Couldn't do it in 4 years. Well, what, you understand? You've already failed. You don't have to go forward. So if you can't do that now, forget about it. Do not get a candidate that's going to be vindictive.
Yeah.
With the last candidate put a park here. Well, I'm going to take that money and I'm going to go put sidewalks with AstroTurf because I want everybody to run. No, if that project is there and it's a good project, that money was already allocated. Make sure that fruits, because that's what happens with a lot of people here in Laredo. A candidate, or the councilman had some damn good ideas, but only because of spite, you enter, I'm going to change all the ideas that he had, and I'm going to bring it back, and you're like, why? What did you do? Did you see everything that I did? No, it was already done. It was working fine then, but you just by spite? We can't be in there because of spite. And if that's your objective, well, then you shouldn't be running, but there's a lot of wrongs, but I think we all can come down together and have some good conversations.
That's what we should do.
And some good dialogue.
There have been council members who host town hall meetings, who have hosted town hall meetings. Now, whether I agree with their politics or not is beyond the point. I'm looking at this event that they held, and they had state rep, federal rep, TxDOT, the local RMA, local citizens, local directors, associations, institutions, and it was completely the contrary to what we would have imagined. You know, when you think of that, you feel that everybody's just gonna come and lynch you. You know, no, everybody was coming up and having the tough conversations. And hey, what can we do? You know, I remember that council member said, "Hey, state, you guys need to do this," and the state was like, "Oh no, that's you guys." So they're like, "Oh, okay, well we'll do it." And you know, we need to come together and work together. And when we do so, we listen to each other. It's tough, yes, it is a little uncomfortable, but that's how we're going to progress, and that's how we're going to be able to build a city that we're proud of and that is more efficient, that has better traffic safety, that has better infrastructure, that has our public services up to par, and that's exactly what we need to do.
Absolutely. Well, folks, if you want to get a hold of, get involved with Mr. Duenas' campaign and call him up, where can they reach you?
We are 8-10 days away from early voting, October 24th through November 4th is the days for early voting. Election day will be November 8th. You guys can jump onto my Facebook page, which is Rafa Duenas for City Council, District 6, or reach me via my webpage. It's called vote-for-rafa.com. We actually have a section called Let's Talk, where you can submit proposals, volunteer, donate. We want to close off strong, so anybody who wants to jump on board, either through donation, through volunteer, or by voicing your concerns and sharing your solutions, we're definitely giving you guys all the welcome, you know.
Okay. Folks, we're going to leave you with this. Early vote starts on Monday. Get your family involved. If you have a teenager who just turned 18, register and vote. You should have already. Register to vote. Take them to the process. Take them with you when you're going to go vote. Teach them how it's done, because we have to pass that along, because some of us are going out, while some of us are going in, but we still want to have that beauty that people need to understand that voting is not an enforcement. It's our privilege to be able to vote, and we should be privileged enough to pick the person that's going to lead us into the next 4 years, especially here in Laredo. And until we'll leave you with this, you all stay at peace and God bless.